Hi, I'm Elizabeth and I run Moksha Yoga in Lincoln. I run community classes and I generally teach Vinyasa Yoga, which is a discipline that is focused on a flowing style, moving through postures and linking them with the breath. Because there's so many different yoga classes on offer, I thought I would create this video just to give you an idea of what levels of yoga are available and what might suit you the best at this time. In a level 1 and beginners class, a pose like downward dog is certainly going to be taught. And in this pose, I don't have any restrictions in my ankles and I'm not in pain and I'm not feeling uncomfortable. Downward dog can also look like this. Maybe there's a little bit of mobility restrictions through the hips, shoulders, elbows, knees. And that makes flowing a bit harder, but it's still possible. Might be a bit more cumbersome. Might take a while to get that foot to the front of the mat, but we would still get up to this lovely high lunge in the end, maybe not with the same openness. But someone who is adapted to flowing a little bit more comfortably would find it much easier to lift the leg and head up for that high lunge, less restrictions through the joints. It doesn't matter what level you're at, it's just about finding the right class for yourself. We always take standing balances in all classes, including the mobility classes, but something like tree pose, although this is the full form of it with the foot high, hands raised, we could also be doing it with the toe down. I also throw in a lot of hand to knee poses. These tend to be really useful for just building a bit of confidence for balance. In all classes, we add standing postures. Warrior 1 here, shown with no restrictions through the hips and shoulders. And then here it is, where it's a little bit more restricted. It's a shorter stance, and it has to be taken just a little bit more gently. That's common, especially in beginners, and especially in people with a few joint restrictions. Just find the right class for you, so you can feel empowered to keep practicing, rather than put off. Getting down to the mat gently is a key feature of the slower mobility classes that I offer. We're not going to be getting up and down from the mat a lot in those classes. Here is an example of child's pose, a kind of shape that I see in the mobility classes and with people with joint restrictions through the hips, maybe a tight lower back. And this is it when it's extended down to the ground, almost a full child's pose with no restrictions. Gentle mobility work such as cat-cow, waking up the spine, is in nearly all classes of mine. It's a brilliant pose for just getting some mobility into the back and starting to move with the breath, even in level 1 beginner and mobility classes. It usually comes quite early on in the class. We might then move into leg extended. That is in all my classes, but we might not always add the extra arm. Coming up for a 90-90, this is certainly approachable in the slower classes that I offer. We don't need as much flexibility as a revolved low lunge here. We're just revolving 90-90. Coming back up from the ground in a mobility class, we can use blocks to assist us, and we can be a little bit slower on the ups, making sure that we're not getting dizzy, and checking in with the self all the time so that we're practicing safely. Of course, the higher level stuff can be a little bit more dynamic. A similar thing here, revolved low lunge, coming up for a high lunge, and taking revolved runner's lunge. There's a lot of accuracy in where we place things. When we get stronger, we can start to do trickier transitions, and just finding out where we're at and working with the body and the breath, taking a lovely vinyasa. That's the kind of stuff in more of the dynamic classes that I offer. If we were just going to sit down, cross-legged on a block, taking a seated twist in level 1 and above, it might look like that. But if our hips, lower back, or knees don't like cross-legged positions, we can just take them apart and find the straight spine that we need for that twist entry. All of my classes are going to feature Shavasana at the end, and if lying on your back with your legs straight doesn't work, you can put bolsters under the knees. There's ways to be comfortable here. But my classes are certainly unique to me, and they're ones that I've adapted to work with who I've come across when I'm teaching in the community. And each teacher's probably got a different way of teaching and a different set of levels. So it's really worth having a think about how I've described the classes here. Have a look at my timetable and find the right class for you. Think about your joints, think about your general health. Are you similar to your peers in how you move, or are you more restricted? And make a call on what's going to be most suitable. If you have an interest in movement and body work, then I want you to explore it in the right kind of class. There's nothing worse than people coming and getting put off because they've come to maybe the wrong class for the first time. There's an opportunity here to get working with the body and get working with your level as it is now. And if that interest is there, explore it. If I can't offer you instruction, I can certainly recommend another teacher in the area. There's so many classes on, there's so many teachers out there. You probably will find the right teacher for you for this moment in time and for your body as it currently is. So don't get bamboozled. It can be very confusing. I hope this has cleared up some of that confusion, and good luck with yourself. And have fun and crack on if you're interested. If you've made it towards the end of this video, I'm shocked. Well done. But also that tells you you're interested. You just wasted 6 minutes of your life listening to me. So get doing stuff. Bye.